Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me on a scale of 1 to 5 at a strength level of 5. If anyone cannot hear me up to 5, which is very, which is perfectly readable, then please let me know.
Radio 5, sir.
Good evening. Radio 4, Victor Tango Romeo Victor India.
Radio 5, Victor Tango November, India Sierra.
Radio 5, Victor Tango Kilo Romeo India.
5, Victor Tango Mike Papa November.
Radio 5, Victor Tango Mike November.
Radio 5, Tango Papa Alpha Romeo.
Radio 4, Victor Tango Hotel Alpha Romeo.
Radio
Radio
5,
5.
Victor Tango Alpha Sierra Victor.
Radio 5, Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Kilo.
Here again, Radio 3, Victor Tango Papa Romeo Alpha.
Radio 4, Victor Tango Foxtrot Whiskey Golf.
5.
Radio 5, Victor Tango Romeo Sierra Kilo.
Strength 5, Victor Tango Papa Romeo Alpha.
Radio 4, Victor Tango Sierra Alpha Mike.
Radio 4, Victor Tango Mike Alpha Yankee.
Okay, I've got a lot of responses. People who have responded. Well, I can hear you all 4 and 5. A couple of students I could not hear beyond 3, but as long as you can hear me, that is amazing. For students who have not given a response, I understand maybe you're not aware how to give a response, but stay rest assured. Today's session is something that I have combined in order to start with a new design when it comes to teaching RTRA. So I want everybody who has any experience with RT, no experience with RT, or some experience with RT, no matter where you stand, I want you all to think of this as lecture 1. Okay, so you have to make your notes in your book, right? 1st June 2021, RTRA lecture 1. Why lecture 1? You will realize. Okay. So I'll just set a few expectations before we start today's session. First thing would be that anyone who's facing network issues, somebody who cannot hear me, maybe there's a lag or you cannot see me, instead of giving up on the session, please reset your internet connection or restart your devices and try to join again. Second thing, I want you all to please be regular now onwards. You have to keep the sequence going on. Attend live sessions, go through the recordings for your revisions. In case you cannot attend certain live sessions, until and unless you have gone through the recording of what you have missed, you should not think about attending the next session. Now, as we see that the pandemic is being, the new lockdown is being lifted, we can expect our examinations to happen in the next couple of months or so. When I say that, it means it gives an equal chance to everybody to clear the exam. People who have studied before, people who have not studied before. It could be that the exam could happen in a couple of, less than in a couple of months. It could be 45 days, it could be 35 days, it could be 40 days. Now, there are students who have already paid for Mumbai session. They are waiting for their roll number. Mumbai session might not happen. The next session is Delhi. We don't really know what WPC is going to do. But if they're going to have a session, it can happen in the coming 2 months at the earliest. I want you all to consider a target of 30 days, thinking that you have 30 days to prepare thoroughly. Good evening, everyone. Is everyone with me? Please type in on the chat window if you're following me or not. Now, for those who have already attended a few sessions in different batches, all this is going to help you revise. All this is going to strengthen what you have learned so much. So hold on to your horses. If you have any doubts, as usual, write it in the parking lot, which is the end section of your notebook. Hope everyone can hear me on a scale of 1 to 5. Still, I have not received 6 responses. I want everyone to participate, all right? So if you have inhibitions thinking that, okay, I have not attended earlier sessions, this and that, just leave it aside. Just focus on what we are learning and focus on what we are studying today. Like I said, again, whatever doubts you have, write it in the parking lot and we'll discuss them end of the session, or you can drop me a text and we will discuss them on one-on-one doubt solving sessions as and when we require them. So before we start, I'll just take a couple of more minutes of your time just to check if there's no lag on our whiteboard, on our screen and everything else so that we can begin. What we are going to cover is we are going to cover multiple call types, which are the starting calls, or which is something that the pilot does initially when he's on ground before he is ready for departure. So yeah, give me a minute or two and I'll see y'all. I'll just work out this lag, okay? I can see some lag here, so please bear with me and be patient. All right. Thank you for waiting, guys and girls. So, what do you see on the screen right now? What I've shared on the screen is the top part of your RTR examination question paper. Okay. This is what you need to keep in mind, whatever information is given to you in this part. And then subsequently, you have to solve the questions mentioned below this. So if we have to decode it, and we start from the bottom, correction, we start from the top left side, we see time allowed 25 minutes. You will be allowed to appear for the examination and get done with the paper. The time given to you will be only 25 minutes. The moment 25 minutes is over, they will ask you to submit your answer sheet. How much is the total marks of your examination? Total marks is 100. Here you see the third thing mentioned here, which is chart number. What is chart number? Chart number will be the number of your navigation chart. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They will give you a bunch or bundle of charts. You'll have to refer to the chart mentioned here. If it is not mentioned here, then you will have to find the chart from the bundle looking at the information given to you in the table given to you here. The table that you see is something that we call as a flight plan. A few of you all will be aware of it, but I want you to go through it again. Okay, don't let complacency bother you or trouble you. So you need to be aware of all these 13 points that you have. Which 13 points? Starting from aircraft identification, flight rules, type of aircraft, departure aerodrome, wake turbulence, type of flight, route, time, level, destination aerodrome, equipment, alternate aerodromes, and other information. These 13 pointers will help you determine in the examination, looking at the chart, what is your departure point and what is your arrival point? What is the route that you're choosing? What are your alternates? What is your time? What is your cruising altitude? Whether you're flying a scheduled airline, scheduled flight, or a non-scheduled flight, or a training flight, or a general flight. What is the wake turbulence category of your aircraft? What are the flight rules that you're following? What is your aircraft type? And what is your call sign? That is aircraft identification. Take it easy, observe, make a note, make this table in your notebooks. This is an example of an existing flight plan. We will be solving our first mock paper based upon this flight plan only. I'm going to randomly ask anyone to give me certain answers, all right? So please be aware of what we are doing and please follow the instructions. And this call sign, giving the air traffic information in return will be a call. It's not check number 4. Okay, guys, can you hear me now properly? I see there's some readability issues. Okay, I see there's some issue here. You guys are not able to hear me. Let me see if I can fix it, guys. This happens sometimes. What we'll do is, I think we should start the session again. We should rejoin and restart the session again. Maybe I'll just reset the internet connection here. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. Let's just give it a couple of seconds to see whether, the connection is good enough or not. Now I'm getting strength 5 from you guys. Okay. All right.
Strength 5, Victor Tango Sierra Victor Papa.
Good, good, good. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. All right. So what I'm trying to say is that this part that you see on the screen right now will be the top half of your examination question paper. Okay. I want you to take a picture of this in your mind also and remember all these 13 points. It is very important. Okay. Whatever I have written in the bracket is for you to understand what the code means. In the examination, the bracket will not be given to you, only the codes will be given to you. I'll give you a lot of examples for such flight plans. This is the flight plan in the examination. If you don't read the flight plan properly before attempting the exam, your first call itself will be very wrong. How will the question paper look like? There will be certain instructions given to you. After that, there will be a series of questions. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, and so on. Maximum you will have up to question number 5. And every question number will have at least one question or maybe 2 questions. Question number 1A, question number 1B, like this. So what would the questions be like and how to take a call looking at the question paper is something that we're going to study. So we're going to solve a paper, but along with that, we are also going to see how to take multiple calls. I don't want anyone to be a stranger as to how to perform in the examination. That is the whole purpose of your first session, all right? So whatever call types or situations you learn, that's a giveaway, along with how you have to perform in the examination. Although studying from a distance helps us a lot, we can avoid traveling in pandemic and we can study, at the comfort of a house. But sometimes due to the network issues, it becomes a very difficult experience. But don't let that demotivate you guys. It only happens once in 10 times. Okay, so be patient. And in case I realize the quality of the lecture was not proper because of network issues, don't worry, I'll retake your sessions again, live sessions. My aim and my target is to help you all clear your RT licenses. My target is not to just get done with the syllabus, all right? So we both, you and me, we should have this collective dream that, okay, we are learning to clear the examination. And it would be great if all of you all appeared in the same attempt and cleared. So when the mark list, when the results come out, if 200 people have cleared in the session, 20 or 25 should be from our batch itself. That should be the weightage. So as many questions you have, please ask. I will repeat it again and again. Mm, just waiting for the screen to upload. What the instructions would be in the examinations, we'll see later. Instructions are like use of arty phraseology is must. Um, Follow the questions in sequence. Do not skip any question. Only go to the next question when you are set to, go to the next question and so on. But depending upon your flight plan, this is how your questions will look like. So let's see what the question number 1 looks like. Everybody make this question paper, okay? Make the flight plan, write down the questions. Question number 1 is, carry out pre-flight check. Carry out pre-flight checks. Question number 1. Have you guys written down question number 1? Carry out pre-flight checks. I'm not getting any response, guys. Good, good. I'm getting your
From
messages
Victor
now.
Tango, Papa Romeo, Alpha.
Good, good, good. You guys can also give me a thumbs up, raise your hand. I have set some verbal codes in the comment and section. You can use those also. I've actually trying to upgrade the software so that we don't have to take breaks in between and we can continue. So all these days I've been working on that. But today we're facing a little turbulence here, guys, but just fasten your seat belts. So question number 1, carry out pre-flight checks. Okay. Question number 2, request ATC information. Question number 2, request ATC information. Write down question number 3. Perform idle power run-up. Question number 3, perform idle power run-up. So question number 1 is carry out pre-flight checks. Question number 2 is request ATC information. And question number 3 is perform idle power run-up. Question number 4, write down request startup. Request startup. And question number 5, we will write down ready for taxi, take action. Ready for taxi, take action. So these are the 5 questions. I hope you all have made the question paper, including the flight plan. If you have done it, I would want to see a picture of the same, which you have to share with me via WhatsApp or Instagram, however you're communicating with me. Maybe during the session or maybe after the session. All right? Everybody has to do it. So apart from the instructions, we have seen what the flight plan looks like. There are 13 points. We have seen what the questions look like. Now we will see how to solve these situations, how to answer these call types, keeping the flight plan in mind and keeping certain basic rules in mind. Just checking your submissions. I've got 2. I also want you to write the flight plan above the questions. If you have not written it above the questions, at least write it below the question. Going good, guys. Very good, very spontaneous, everyone. See, your ultimate goal should be to at least do as much as I'm saying, up to a level of 100%. Anything you do above and over it is good, but you cannot do lesser than what I'm teaching you to do, okay? What I'm teaching you to do is what you have to stick to. So if I have asked you to, if I've also showed you the time allowed, the total marks in the chart section on the top of your flight plan, that should also be a part of your flight plan, which you are making right now. I don't want you to be surprised by anything in the examination. Initially, it will take time for you to, come in sync with the pace and everything, but eventually it will happen. But you have to be very alert. And you might be wondering, sir, what are the other codes for type of flight? What are the other codes? So I am going to, on a weekly basis, share notes with you. So all that we are studying will be given to you in a notebook, also a textbook, your personal textbook it will be. But that does not take away your chance to make your own notes, all right? Okay. Whoever has not submitted, please quickly submit it, or just let me know in chats why you have not submitted. Remember, what I have written in the bracket is for you to decode the codes. In the examination, only the codes will be there. The thing in the bracket will not be there. Wonderful. Going good, everyone? So see, I'll show you the notes that I already have made for you guys. And this is what I'll be sharing with you all. Section 1, important things to know before you start studying. What is the important thing? The flight plan, which is the part of your chapter 1. It tells you about where does the pilot actually get the information to fly? What is the main source for your flight in your WPC RTRA exam? And that is nothing but your flight plan. Okay. And then we start describing about what are the informations mentioned in the flight plan, number 1, number 2, number 3, and what are the other possible options. So if I have aircraft identification in number 1, what are these codes? Either registration marking or IATA codes. But the actual flight plan that we study for air navigation examination, it says something else. Okay. But for this examination, you have to remember these. When I say Air India 123, the code becomes Alpha India, that is AI 123. And that is actually an ITA code. So before I send this to you, I'm going to make a few more edits and share the actual flight plan also, so that you guys know the best of both sides. If there are any corrections, do not worry about it. Just bring it to my notice and we'll correct it. Number 2, departure aerodrome. What is the way to make this departure aerodrome codes? These are 4-letter codes, and I always emphasize on these codes. These codes are known as ICAO location designators. So here it says what is the what the first letter denotes. The first letter denotes AFSRA. What is the full form of AFSRA? That total 22 AFSRA, A to Z, and there are only 4 AFSRAs that are deducted from the alphabet, and that is India, Juliet, Quebec, X-ray. And it explains the whole decoding of this AFSRAs. Then it gives you an example, certain sections as to what is to be avoided, what is not to be avoided, and so on. So the whole chapter on your flight plan is explained very properly. What are the codes in the other information that you can have? Special handling codes. And then a picture of a real flight plan. I'm going to update it, replace it with a newer picture, clearer picture. And this is how the flight plan actually looks like. The real life flight plan. They will ask you about this flight plan in your part 2 viva of the examination. If you clear your part 1, they'll subject you for a part 2, and they will ask these questions based upon the real flight plan also. So I'll teach you that also. So everything is mentioned. And then we see how the examination flight plan looks like and how the question paper looks like. Okay. Second chapter will talk about the briefings that the pilot goes through. This is important with respect to your part 2 Viva. NOTAMs, decoding of NOTAMs, METAR, all reports. And the instructions that I was talking about is mentioned here. These 5 instructions will be mentioned in between your questions and your flight plan in the examination. Answer all questions in ascending order. First number 1, then number 2, then number 3. Using hypothetical data of radial and DME is must. You have to mention radial and DME, it can be hypothetical. For messages that require to be transmitted at specific time, candidate should write that specific time against question number on answer sheet. This I'll show you when we are solving papers. Continue answering questions till you are told to go to the next question. It is very important. Say you are solving the question number 1. You think you are done, but the examiner does not say go to the next question. So you have to continue that call. So how to continue that? It's simple. You just act natural. Assume that you're the pilot. Go through the procedure as you would do in real life. If you're not aware of the procedures, do not worry. I'm here to teach you all that. And instruction number 5, most important, is usage of aviation language and prescribed phraseology is mandatory. It means if you have to say yes, you will say affirm. If you have to say okay, you will say Roger. If you have to say no, you will say negative. If you want to say pardon, you will say again. If you want to say sorry, you will say correction. If you want to say ignore, you will say disregard. So there's a list of phrases that we have to go through. And then how to make your RT calls. So this is very important, guys. Before we start to take calls, it is important to know your basic structure of all calls. And that is nothing but 4 Ws. We call it 4 Ws because in sequence, we remember the first thing that we'll use is the call sign of the person whom we are calling. So if I am in Mumbai and I want to do some call with Mumbai ground, then I'll first use the word Mumbai ground. That's it. And then second W, who are you? My call sign. I am Air India 123. So I'll say Mumbai ground, Air India 123. Then the third thing is, why are you calling? Or where are you calling from? The both could be interchanged. The third W and the fourth W. This call structure, including 4 Ws, is very important whenever you have to make the first call for any situation. There are 80% of situations in the examination where you will be making the first call. So your task would be to first identify which ATC you have to call to. Is it Mumbai ground, Mumbai approach, Mumbai control? That you will identify as per the question and the chart, both. Then your call sign will be mentioned on the question paper, flight plan, aircraft identification. Where are you calling from? If it is not mentioned, then you can assume that you are parked somewhere. Only on ground calls. Otherwise, in air, you will always be given a position in the question paper that you are over this VOR, or you are over this NDB, you're over this waypoint, or you're over this control boundary, or this FIR point. At this altitude, this flight level. Don't be surprised, guys. These are just basic introductions of few terms. All this is something that we are going to learn in subsequent lectures. Today a little, tomorrow a little, and so on. And the most important W is, why are you calling? This is the reason why you're calling. Why are you calling? So that is the question. So if I have to go back to the questions that we wrote for our practice and understanding today, then question number 1 says carry out pre-flight checks. So I have to do pre-flight checks. Before I can do pre-flight checks, I need to know what is the pattern of pre-flight checks. What do pre-flight checks mean? And then I can do those pre-flight checks. So I need to know the 4 Ws are based upon the pre-flight check. Whom are you calling? Who am I calling? Where am I? My departure aerodrome here, point number 4 is Mumbai. I know I'm going to call Mumbai ATC. Now, which Mumbai ATC are you going to call? If you are on ground, you have to see whether Mumbai has ground control or not. If it has ground ATC, then you will call Mumbai ground. All major airports will have ground ATCs, tower ATCs, approach ATCs, control ATCs. Smaller airports will only have tower ATCs. So if you are at a smaller airport like Pune, and if you have been given a call like carry out pre-flight check, you will only call Pune Tower. You cannot call Pune ground because Pune ground does not exist. How do you find that? You find that looking at the chart. So I remember once we were doing chart reading and we had network issues, and after that we were not able to continue classes. So do not worry. We will be doing it in a fresh way for everyone to enjoy and understand all charts in just one session. So if I have to understand the 4 Ws, obviously I need to look at the chart. Today, I'll give you the information about Mumbai Aerodrome as to what is available on Mumbai Aerodrome as per the chart. I'm going to give it to you directly. The same thing you will be able to see on the chart also when we do chart reading. Who are you? Point number 1, I am AI129. In bracket, I know how to decipher it, Air India 129. And in RT, you don't say 9, you say Niner, N-I-N-E-R. And when it comes to numbers, in RT, you cannot say double-digit numbers. So in RT, you will only have numbers starting from 0 to 9er. If you have to say 10, you will say 10. If you have to say 100, you can say 100. 100, 200, 300, 400 is allowed. That's it. If you have to say 3200, you will say 3200. That is much better. If you have to say 10,000, then you will say 10,000. 10 and then 1,000. You will learn that with practice. Here you are not given where you are. So you have to assume that you are on a parking bay or a parking stand. There are multiple ways you can represent where your aircraft is parked. That point from where you will take a pushback and start up and go. That point where your passengers will get on board the aircraft. That is known as your parking bay or parking stand. Whenever you are on ground, you need to know where you are. As per the examination, you can use hypothetical data. If it is not mentioned, you can say stand alpha, stand bravo. We use the word stand because that is universal. You can also use gate. You can also use bay. All right. And why are you calling? You're calling to do pre-flight checks. How to say, why am I calling? You'll simply perform the check. So whenever you see the word check, it is a standard check. There's a standard way to do it. Whenever you see request, that's when you will say request ATC information, which will become a part of your 4th W as to why are you calling. Now to remove the confusion, let's just quickly see how to solve. Now, if I cannot go back to the question paper, I will ask you all to tell me the question number or the question. So be ready. Okay. So how to answer. So this is your answer sheet. You need to divide your answer sheet into parts, 2 equal parts. Okay. The left side will be the pilot or the pilot in command. You guys will be the pilot in command. You'll be the commander. Even though you're doing it for your engineering purposes, you have to imagine you're the pilot. People who are doing it for CPL, of course, you are the PICs, not even the co-pilot, but PIC. This is basically nobody but the student. And on the right side is the ATC, nothing but the examiner. Guys, speaking or taking the call is just half. If you don't write what you're speaking, you will not get even 1 mark for that call. So everything that you say has to be written down in proper sequence. You have to observe my sequence. I'm going to be the PIC. I'm going to be the examiner. You have to see how I am writing, where I am writing, and you have to do the same in your examination. So my question number 1, it said carry out pre-flight checks. Okay. I saw the flight plan and I saw that nowhere on the flight plan it is mentioned that I only have VHF or HF. Okay. There are 2 communication systems on an aircraft. VHF and HF. If it is not mentioned in the flight plan that you don't have HF, it means you have HF. Okay. What is VHF? What is HF? Obviously, we have to cover it for part 2 also. So do not worry about it. These are two sets of frequency bands. HF is like all India radio. It goes up to a long distance on a common frequency. VHF is like Radio City and Radio Mirchi FM. Small range, and multiple places can have the same frequencies in different areas. So how to do pre-flight check? Okay, guys, this is very important and it is sometimes very complicated also. So just follow and understand and learn. I'm going to give you the script for your pre-flight check, and I'm also going to show you how you have to do it in the examination. Keep your eyes wide open, ears wide open, and whatever I am doing is what you have to do in your notebooks. So you will practice while you're learning with it. All right. If I'm going too fast for you, you will use the standard phrases, speak slower, and you'll write it in chat, and you'll end with your call sign. If you have not given yourself a call sign, I would ask you to give yourself a call sign, starting with Victor Tango, followed by 3 unique codes. That could be your initials. Victor Tango is standard for all the aircraft registered in India. So like we have our aircraft vehicle or our car or bike registration MH02, MH01 and so on. Aircraft have 5-digit registration markings in our country. This information will be obtained in the other information section of the examination. But here I will use Air India 123 as per the flight plan. So if you guys are ready, I'll show you how to do a pre-flight check. There might be a chance that you'll be a little confused and a little surprised. If that is something that is happening, write it down in your parking lot and drop me a personal message on WhatsApp so that I can get back to you with your doubt solution. Are you guys ready?
Affirm.
So now, because I cannot see you talking to me, it is only advisable that you will end your replies with your call sign and make it a habit of doing so in the examination also. So if you're saying affirm, just end it with your call sign also.
Affirm Victor Tango Alpha Sierra Victor.
Affirm Victor Tango Papa Romeo Alpha.
Affirm Victor Tango Mike November Romeo.
Affirm Victor Tango Hotel Alpha Romeo.
Affirm Victor Tango Papa Delta Uniform.
Victor Tango Kilo Romeo India.
Affirm Victor Tango Sierra Victor Papa.
Not everybody has given a verbal acknowledgement, but I'm checking the text messages. No problem. Good, guys. Already feels like I'm talking to real pilots, and that professionalism is very good. In the examination, if you can keep that attitude and still stay modest and humble in front of the examiner, nobody can take away your first session from you. I'll discuss this in tips and techniques once we are done with, the material that we are learning. So you cannot act nervous on the call. Although you have to be humble, you cannot be overconfident in the examination, especially when it's your first attempt. Especially when you are young. All right. So my question number 1 was carry pre-flight checks. As a good student, I'll see the question. I'll quickly check my flight plan. I'll check my call sign. I'll check the air traffic controller. So I'll show you Mumbai has these many air traffic controllers. The same thing you will see on the map. Or the chart. They're actually called charts and not maps, but we just keep calling them maps and charts at times. So this hexagon that you see represents Mumbai VOR. Okay, this is a Mumbai VOR. What is a VOR? It's a very important navigation aid, and it also represents the location of your aerodrome. So this is something which we will see on the map. And then on the right or left, they will mention all the possible air traffic controllers along with their frequencies. So SMC, it will be mentioned 121.5, tower 118.1, approach 126.4. All this will be hypothetical in your examination. Control would be 124.6, and that is would be 122. So SMC, you will say as Mumbai ground. Tower, TWR will be set as tower. APP will be set as approach. ACC will be set as control. And DATIS is a broadcast service. That is just one-way communication. You can tune into the frequency and listen to the broadcast. Current ATC information or weather information will be given to you on DATIS. So these are the frequencies you can select. All these are VHF. For HF, you will have only one thing known as radio. Mumbai radio. So now that I will see this on the map, I know certain amount of calls when I am on ground, the calls will only go to SMC. And how will I speak to SMC? By saying Mumbai ground. The name of the aerodrome Mumbai, and then SMC is spoken as ground. So I'll say Mumbai ground. That is my first W. Who am I calling? I'm calling Mumbai ground. If I would have been somewhere near the runway or on the runway, I would have spoken to TWR, that is tower, and the call sign would be Mumbai tower. Say after takeoff instructions, when I'm initially doing a climb, I'll be transferred from tower to approach, APP. So I'll have to tune and change in my frequency from 118.1 to 126.4. You see how I'm using the word decimal for point. So from now on, whenever you will see a point, you will not say point, but you will say decimal. And how will I address approach? I'll say Mumbai approach. And then Mumbai approach will pass on me to ACC on frequency 124.6 as per this situation. What is ACC? Control. Which control? Mumbai control. So I'll address him or her, the ATC, as Mumbai control. As simple as that. You will learn this I think you will get a hang of it in 3 to 4 sessions completely. This information is extracted from your navigation chart. How to understand and see the chart, we'll have a dedicated session for that. But this information I'm giving to you, without this, it will be difficult for me to understand whom to make the call based upon this question paper. So now I know this information, a part of the chart, I'll just circle it This is taken from the chart. So all the information is given to you in the examination. You have to just connect the dots, follow the protocols, use phraseology, and perform. That's it. It is not difficult to crack in your first attempt. So if you understand the chart, the flight plan, and the things that I'm teaching you properly and use them without making mistakes, you'll definitely finish your paper in 15 to 18 minutes. Only 15 to 18 minutes. You don't even have to wait for 25 minutes. And you'll see that they will ask you to go to the second round also on your first attempt. And second round is easier to crack compared to first round. Provided you have studied, okay? All right, so now we are ready to take the call. Pre-flight check. Pre-flight check script is shared with you. I'm sharing it with you live, so please make a note of it. I will go very slow for the first call. What will I do as a student? I'll think about the call structure, 4Ws, whether I'm calling the right ATC, whether I'm using my correct call sign. And then I will frame the call in my head before I perform it. All this you have to do before you perform or write the call, and all this you have to do within a minute or less to avoid making beginner's mistake out of the nervousness and the stress of the travel and this and that when you're going for the exam. Okay, so I've done all that in my head. I showed you all how I did it. I checked the flight plan. I checked everything. I checked the ATC. I also checked whether it's mentioned anywhere, whether HF is not on board. It is not mentioned. So I know my pre-flight check I have to do on both VHF and HF. Remember this. If you only get a question where they say pre-flight checks, and if no HF is mentioned, like nothing about HF not being on the airplane, then you have to do it on both frequencies. And how to do it? This is the way. Mumbai ground, Air India 123. Now I'm not sure whether I was Air India 123 or something else. I just realized while taking the call, and I see I have not written it anywhere. I've just written PIC or student. So I'll quickly check. And I realize that I was making a mistake because my actual call sign is Air India 129er as per the flight plan. In the exam, it will not take you so long because you will be doing it in the same sheet of paper. You can just look up and check and come down, unlike me playing with, the system. So I've made the problem, but I realized it. So what to do? I'll quickly write my call sign here so that I don't forget. Besides PIC, on the top part, Air India 129er is my call sign. And I'll say disregard. What is the meaning of disregard? Disregard is a standard phrase and it means ignore my previous or last transmission. So even if you make any error in the examination, it is okay because there are standard ways to correct your errors. And if you do that, you get more points. I'm giving you the meaning of disregard also. Ignore my last transmission. it is your first standard phrase that you're learning in RT. I'll write it as this. Disregard, which is your first phrase that you're learning. Disregard raised to 1. I just don't like it when it lags, you know. I know you also don't like it, but you guys are very dedicated and very patient. That's why I've gathered you all together. I'm just so proud of you guys. Remember, whatever confusions or doubts you have, write it in your parking lot and share it with me end of the session, okay? I'll take care of it personally for each one of you. So this is how I will write all our phrases that we study when we are doing calls. Disregard and the meaning of it. Okay? Now let's go back to the correct call. In the exam, you just stick to disregard and take the call again. Mumbai ground, Air India 129er on one to 1.5 pre-flight radio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? Now let's look at the ATC's reply and let's see where the ATC, what the ATC is replying. Focus should be on his voice, his or her voice, and where to write it. Wherever you end, you have to write below that. So although I'm speaking on behalf of ATC, what I'm going to act as, I am the student and I'm just writing what he's speaking, all right? So I'm listening to him and writing, although you will have my voice. Air India 129er, Mumbai ground, read U5, primary 88908, secondary 70564. Now what you need to focus on is that whatever ATC tells you, you have to give an accurate read back. Read back is a standard phrase which means transmit as received. This is your second phrase. What does it mean? Transmit as received. You have to give a read back. All right. If you don't give a read back, you will not pass in your first attempt or second attempt whatsoever. You have to give a read back. Any instruction or any information given to you has to be repeated. Here, the information given to you is that he's reading you 5. This you have to repeat. Then the information is given you 2 frequencies, a primary frequency and a secondary frequency. You have to give a read back. Now, these are your HF frequencies that he's giving to you. Basically, he's hinting at you that you have to also perform the radio check on HF. In the examination, if it does not hint, then you can assume your own frequencies or you can check the chart. On one side of the chart, it will be mentioned primary and secondary. But today we'll stick to simple and basic calls only. So how to give a reply? The reply has to be instantaneous. Right now I'm teaching you in between. But in future, once I'm done teaching you these basics, I'll just go in the flow to show you how long it takes to finish one call. So let's go to the reply, my read back. All right. So I'll say wherever he ended, I'll start from there. read you 5. So see, my reply is directly starting with the read back. Now I don't want to focus on whom you're calling, who you are, because those are only for the first calls that you make. Now these are subsequent replies. These are a part of a continuous conversation. Here your focus should be to end your call with your call sign. How will you do it? Like this. Read you 5, primary 88908, secondary 70564, Air India 129. As simple as that. No grammar needed, no big sentences needed. This is read you, nothing else, just a read back. What all read back have I given here? As it is. Read you 5, primary, secondary. While I was writing it, my eyes were totally fixed upon what the ATC has said so that I don't make any mistake. This is how you give accurate readback. All you have to do is just end with your call sign. This is ending with your call sign. This is very important. Now, this is your pre-flight check done on VHF with ATC giving you HF frequencies also. Now you have to continue doing your pre-flight check on HF based upon these frequencies. How to do it? You continue. You will only not continue if the ATC is asking you to go to the next question. If you are done with so much and ATC tells you, see, you have just ended your call sign Air India 129er and the ATC says, go to next question. If the ATC says this, then you will quickly jump to question number 2, that is request ATC information. It means you are done with question number 1, need not worry about it. He will assess that question number 1 out of 20 marks, depending upon all the things, phraseology, sequence, the logic, calling the right ATC, giving the proper readback, and writing everything properly. 5 to 6 parameters, he will evaluate your call number 1 once he's checking, and he'll give you marks accordingly. I would want you all to score at least 70% on every question. So question number 1, if it is for 20 marks, I would want you to get at least 14 out of 20, and that does not seem that difficult. Even if you make a wrong call, partially correct, you get 10 easily. So how difficult is it to get 14 out of 20? If you keep that 70% ratio on every question, the final result will also be 70%. And then you will be standing number 1 for round 2. Although in the examination, the passing is 50, if you get 50 by getting 10, 10, 10 on every question, they will not send you in part 2 because that is not a good performance. But if you get 50 by only answering the first 3 questions, that is 50 out of 60, you might have not attempted because you ran out of time. But your calls were so good that you got 50 out of 60 after attempting only the first 3, then they will send you to part 2. So remember this logic. You'll think, Array, I'll just give half of every call and still get 50, 55, 60. No, that will not work. Then they will not send you to part 2. Your call quality should be amazing. And what is amazing call quality? It is nothing but what sir is writing on the screen right now. So you memorize it, you learn it logically, whatever method is appropriate to you. I want you to give me accurate calls whenever I'm giving you a test or something or the other. You can twist and turn, I don't mind, but the basics should be the same. So let's assume he's not asked us to go to the next question, because getting 20 marks will not be this easy. So I will now switch off my VHF, basically not turn off, but I'll actually tune into my HF on my audio control panel in the cockpit, something that you don't need to worry about. Nobody's going to ask you about it, but I'll show you pictures. My first time when I saw the audio control panel, I was so confused. I was so nervous to even press any button there. Everything looked the same. But that was nothing, because as a pilot, as an aviator, you have to take care of so many buttons and systems. So eventually you get a hang of it. So let's continue. assuming he's not saying anything, not saying anything, like go to next question. So how will I perform the pre-flight check on HF? Now, these two different checks can be asked to you individually in the examination also, or as a part of the same question like we're doing it. So how will it be? It will be like this. Now, the thing is, when you're talking on HF, you will not talk to ground. You will not talk to tower approach or control. You will only talk to radio, Mumbai radio. On HF, you only have one ATC and the call sign is FIR and radio. And there are only 5 FIRs in the country. So if I have to make a map of India, then the FIR regions, basically the HF ATCs are divided into 5 regions. Delhi FIR, Mumbai FIR. This diagram is not to scale, okay? Chennai FIR, Kolkata FIR, and Guwahati FIR, which is actually a sub FIR. It has a code common with Kolkata FIR, that is Echo, E. A is Alpha, B is Bravo, C is Charlie, D is Delta. We will directly study those with such examples. So India stands for Delhi FIR as a code, Alpha Mumbai FIR, Guwahati FIR, Chennai FIR. And the call sign will always be, so if your airport is anywhere in Delhi FIR boundary, and if you want to talk on HF, you will call Delhi radio. Simple as that. And Delhi FIR will have multiple airports. From Kashmir up to Jaipur, Delhi FIR takes care of all the airports. So Mumbai takes care of major airports in the Gujarat area also, Pune, Maharashtra, and so on. When we do chart reading, I'll show you all the FIR boundaries close to scale. Okay. Call sign will be simple. FIR plus radio. So if I am in Mumbai airport, which FIR am I? Now I had deciphered the code. I know I am in Mumbai FIR. So call sign on HF will be Mumbai radio. Very simple. And you will talk to Mumbai radio on both frequencies, primary also and secondary also. And you will be surprised to know that you can even talk to Delhi radio on the same frequency. So the frequency which is primary and secondary is common for all the radios or FIRs. Okay. It is the same. What differentiates it? Whom you call. Sitting in Mumbai, you can call Guwahati radio also. If you say Guwahati radio, Air India 129er, Guwahati radio will give you a response, even though you are sitting in Mumbai. This is the range of HF communications. That's why HF communications we use for long range communication. One frequency will go from head to toe everywhere. Okay. I'll give you all a minute to soak it in. Are you guys following what we are doing?
From VT, Victor, Tango, Papa, Romeo, Alpha.
From Victor Tango Mike November Romeo.
Victor Tango Mike India Echo.
From Victor Tango Kilo Romeo.
Affirm Victor Tango Hotel Alpha Romeo.
From Victor Tango Papa Alpha Romeo.
From Victor Tango Sierra Victor Papa.
From Victor Tango Kilo Tango Tango.
And if you go back to understanding those 4-digit location designators, you will see the second code in the location designators is nothing but your FIR. So it reduces the area of an airport looking at the location designator only. So all the airports in our country will have either of these 4 letters as the second letter in the location designator code. It could be India. It will represent that your airport is in Delhi FIR region, Alpha, Mumbai FIR region, Echo, Kolkata or Guwahati FIR region, Oscar, Chennai FIR region. That's it. So now that, all this information is necessary for you to take the call. Okay. So now you know the information. Now you are ready to take the call. Now you know if you have to do the pre-flight check on HF, you have to stick to 4 Ws. Whom are you calling? Who you are? Where are you? Why you're calling? So who are you calling? We found out like this. You're in Mumbai on HF, you'll talk to Mumbai radio. So now that we know our call sign, where are we? Obviously, we'll mention our frequency. And why are we calling? Pre-flight check. How to do it? Something that we are ready to do the call. So every call like this will require you to have certain background knowledge of something or the other. Only then your call will be accurate. That is the reason why I just don't give you calls to memorize, because the questions will not be that simple. Understand the difference, guys. The training is different. It is for you to pass your first attempt, no matter how difficult the paper is. Or otherwise, you'll take 4 to 5 sessions before you end up clearing. But you'll definitely clear. Nobody can take that away from you. The point is, how soon do you want it? So remember this much, and let's just finish our pre-flight check on HF also. Now that we have all the information, all we need to do is just take the call, and it will end in a couple of minutes or more. So where I stopped, I gave a read back. That's where I stopped. ATC did not give me any response saying go to next question in the examination. So I have to continue the call. This is how I'll do a pre-flight radio check on HF. Everybody please remember it. Mumbai radio, Air India 129er, focusing on the first 2 Ws. Whom are you calling? Who you are? Where are you and why you're calling? Okay. Third W, where are you? On secondary 70564. Now, why are you calling? Pre-flight cell call check. Yes, pre-flight radio check, guys, on HF is also known as cell call check. In the question, if they ask you to do cell call check, you will only do it on HF. You don't need to do it on VHF. But if they say pre-flight radio check, and if you have HF, then you have to do a pre-flight cell call check when you're doing a pre-flight check on HF. It might take some time for you all to digest it, but right now just focus, write, and try to remember. And if you have doubts, write it in the parking lot. Mumbai radio, Air India 129er, on secondary 70564, pre-flight cell call check. Check cell call, Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Air India 129er, Mumbai radio, checking cell call, Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta. Negative I say again, check cell call Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Air India 129. Checking cell call Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Mumbai Radio. Cell call, okay. Changing to primary. Standby. Air India 129. Standing by Mumbai Radio. Mumbai Radio, Air India 129er on primary 88908. Check cell call. Checking cell call. Mumbai Radio. Cell call, okay. Air India 129er. Go to next question. Success. Finally, we have finished a lengthy question. And I, as a student, hope I'll get 20 on 20. But I am sure that even if he assesses it roughly, he or she, the examiner, I'll get at least 16 out on this. And my target is 70. So I'm way ahead of my target. You might be wondering, sir, what's happening? So basically, cell call system works like your mobile number. If I have to talk to one of y'all, what I'll do is I'll call you on your mobile phone. If I'm calling you from an unknown number, I'll say my name. I'll take your name. I'll not call anybody else. Similarly, every aircraft is given a unique 4-letter code, just like your unique mobile number. This is to relieve the load from the flying crew, the load of constantly monitoring HF frequencies. You don't have to talk much to HF ATCs, that is radio, but there are certain times you need to talk to them, and you always need to be tuned into them because they can always come up with some important information on instruction. So earlier, the pilot used to always, be busy just waiting for their call to be heard. And maybe the radio was talking to someone else, but because the frequency is common, every other aircraft was given that call. And that is unnecessary load. The pilot needs to relax. So they came up with a system known as cell call. Every aircraft was given a 4-letter code. And these cell call codes are only from Alpha to Sierra, excluding India, November, Oscar. These codes are 2 pairs of 2 letters each. 2 pairs of 2 letters each. From Alpha to Sierra, except INO, giving me 4 codes. So Alpha, what was my code again? Alpha Charlie, Delta Bravo Delta. Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Correct. Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo will give me a code. Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Unique cell call code for every aircraft. And this code is mentioned on a metal plate on the cockpit somewhere. It does not change. This code you can always give to the ATC in your flight plan. Otherwise, HF ATC always has this. How do the ATC contact you? It is simple. You will be flying. All the ATCs will know who's flying where. They all have their radar screens. All radio ATC controllers will also have the radar. If they have to talk to you about certain information or something or the other, they will have a keyboard, just like a computer keyboard, but this keyboard will only have keys from Alpha to Sierra, excluding I and O. And they will just press these 4 digits, Alpha, Charlie, Delta, Bravo. So the equipment with the air traffic controller here is known as the transmitter. And on board the aircraft as a pilot, you have the receiver. Okay. We also call the transmitter an encoder. It encodes. And on board the aircraft, we have a decoder. These are the terms you'll need to use when you will be asked this question in your part 2 exam. And I've clearly mentioned it in the notebook, the textbook. Okay, just remember, when you read the text, you will remember everything. I want you to understand it right now. So if I have to talk to Air India 129er, and I know the Air India 129er cell call code. How do I know the cell call code? I just got it in the pre-flight check that I've done right now. So this is the importance of doing a pre-flight check. You give Mumbai radio and all other radios your cell call code. So they are checking the system now. What are we doing in this pre-flight check? We are checking whether pressing those codes will give me a call in the cockpit. And how do I know that? You get an oral, an audio tone, or a visual notification like some beep or a bulb showing you that radio is calling you. If the pilot sees that or hears that, he will simply turn his HF radio system, increase the volume, turn it on, and he'll say Mumbai radio, Air India 129er, go ahead. Go ahead is pass your message. This is how radio will use cell call system in real life, only targeting you. Other people will not be able to hear it at all. Other people can hear it on the frequency if they are tuned into, but the call is only for you, and that's why you have got a notification that is oral and visual, just like a ringtone in your mobile phone or vibration in your mobile phone. So the full form for cell call is selective calling. A very important topic, and this is all that is there to the topic. HF radio using selective calling, they choose whom to call. And whenever you do a pre-flight check on HF, it is nothing but a cell call check because that is the system. So in our call, we were the ones who gave the code to Mumbai radio. So when you make the cell call, pre-flight cell call check or pre-flight radio check on HF, you say, Mumbai radio, I'm Air India 129er, I'm on the second frequency. Always remember, when you're doing a pre-flight HF check or pre-flight cell call check, first you do on secondary and then on primary. This is to avoid human error of leaving the system into the last tuned frequency. If you do first on primary and then on secondary, then by default, you leave it on secondary, and all across your flight, ATC will not be able to call you because ATC will call you on primary. Major accidents have happened because of such issues. So that's why you do first secondary and then primary. Then you keep the system tuned into the primary for as long as your flight takes place, so they don't need to worry about it. Why do we have secondary and primary? Secondary is just as a backup. If primary is not working, then secondary will work. And these frequencies keep on changing based upon the weather conditions, because HF propagation as a radio wave is affected by weather. That's why you need to get fresh HF frequencies every time before departure. And that's why VHF ATC, that is Mumbai ground, gave you primary and secondary frequencies. You might also get these frequencies during your briefings before you sit in the cockpit, that is ATC briefing or communication briefing. There are various mediums where you will be given these frequencies. This check is mandatory for every pilot to do before departure if he is operating VHF and HF both. So in the examination, they can ask you this question. All the situations that you're learning are a pilot's day-to-day job. In the exam, they will only ask you few situations out of a pilot's day-to-day job. So it should not be that difficult for you. 5 questions is nothing but 5% or 10% of a real pilot's real conversations with air traffic controllers. But yes, in the examination, you'll be given situations like engine failure, bad weather, communication failure. Such things don't happen every day. But other things happen every day. Position reports, weather reports, air reports, pre-flight checks, taxi, startup, pushback, departure, arrival, landing, takeoff, and so on. So remember, pre-flight cell call check, first on secondary. How do you do it? Mumbai Radio, Air India 129er on secondary. Mention the frequency. Why you're calling? Pre-flight cell call check. And how do you do it? You just simply say check cell call and give your code. Here the trick that examiners play will be examiners will try to give you wrong read back to see whether you're focused. And this examiner did the same thing with me right now. He said Air India 129er, Mumbai Radio, checking cell call. He said, I'm checking cell call. How is he checking? He's pressing the keys on the keyboard and you have to see whether you are getting the cockpit notification or not. If you get it, you say okay. If you don't get it, you say not okay. But here he used the wrong cell call code, Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta. If in the examination you're pressurized, thinking, oh, it's been 5 minutes, I'm still on my first question, you might not notice. It is so confusing. Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo and Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta. If you say cell call okay, then he'll deduct your marks because you missed listening. And your RT examination is all about listening and talking. So always make sure whether he's said the correct call sign, correct information or not, or correct read back or not. If not, so you use proper phraseologies like I have read. Negative means no. I say again means I repeat for clarity or emphasis. Then I say negative, I say again, check cell call, Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. And then I end it with my call sign. If I don't end it with my call sign, then ATC has no way of knowing who is talking to him or her. Because unlike you and me knowing on a phone conversation that we're talking to each other, one frequency, one ATC will be talking to 100 different aircrafts. And everybody sounds almost similar. So if you don't use your call sign, end of your calls, how will he know whether he or she has got the reply from the same person? This is the importance of giving your call sign at the end of your replies. Now the ATC is like, okay, the student is good. The student can hear me properly. So he'll make it easy for you. So if you perform well, the examiners will make the exam easy for you. If you make silly mistakes, they might help you, they might not help you. Then he will reply saying checking cell call, Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. Check if he said the correct code. Yes. He also ended with his call sign because that's a protocol. Then you will say cell call okay. Now I'm changing to primary. Changing to is a standard phrase. Every time when you're changing from one frequency to another, you have to use the phrase changing to. That's why I've written 5 over there. Then you're saying changing to primary. Here, ideally, I should have mentioned the frequency also. Changing to primary 889er8. Maybe I lose 1 mark here, maybe not, because otherwise my call was good. Then I asked the air traffic controller to stand by and I wait for me. I'm coming back. Stand by means wait, I'll call you back. And then I ended with my call sign. He gave me a good reply saying standing by and ended with his call sign. He gave me an acknowledgement. If he would not have given me an acknowledgement, I'm not sure if he heard me or not. So an acknowledgement is nothing but a reply. Reply could be, okay, I've received your message. Reply could be yes, reply could be no. But acknowledgement is very important. So you have 5 to 10 seconds to give a reply to the other person. Remember, your protocol tells you 10 seconds, you have to reply within 10 seconds. But when you're learning with me, you have to reply within 5 seconds. Okay. So now you're calling again because you have changed the frequency. You have come on primary frequency. You'll use the call signs again. Mumbai Radio, Air India 129er. Don't directly say check cell call Alpha this. No. Say again what you are doing. Okay, Mumbai Radio, I am Air India 129er. I'm on primary. This is my frequency 889er8. Check cell call. In a second time, you don't need to give the cell call code again. Even if you do, it's not wrong. But ideally, you should not give it because ATC already has it. So ATC will say, I'm just checking cell call, Mumbai Radio. You assume that you are getting the notification on both secondary and primary. Secondary, you already assume. Now primary, you say cell call okay. Air India 129. End with your call sign. This is where your pre-flight check, as the whole question is done. In the examination, you might be asked to do a pre-flight radio check only on VHF. Then your call will be very small. They can only ask you pre-flight cell call checks. Then you have to just do it on secondary and primary. And that's it. They can ask a lot of permutations and combinations to you based upon what we are learning right now. So if you understand this much, it is your first step. Second, you have to understand is how to decode different questions and use what you have already learned in different questions. That is where your practice comes into picture. And we already know what is cell call. Cell call stands for selective calling. It is a system on HF to reduce constant frequency monitoring load from the flying crew. How does it work? Every aircraft has a unique 4-digit code, 2 pairs of 2 letters each from Alpha to Sierra, except I and O. The pilot in the cockpit, the aircraft has a receiver and a decoder. The ATC has a keyboard and an encoder. They press the 4 codes. What happens on board the aircraft, guys? This is technical. The system, the cell call system on board the aircraft, it's like a small unit. It receives all the codes that ATC is sending. If ATC is sending your code, my code, his code, her code, it will receive all codes. But the oral, the audio and the visual notification will only come when the code sent by ATC and the code received by me matches. So this is how the system works. Now I have shared so much information with you. If they ask you this question in the part 2 exam, don't say, "Arey, maine to part 2 padha hi nahi, I did not study part 2. I'm teaching you part 2 right here, right now. Everything is interconnected. 60% of part 1 will be asked to you in part 2. It is like that. And obviously, you understand right now. Once I'll share the notes with you, the theory will make it much more clear for you. But right now, you need to understand. And if you have to ask yourself if you have any questions, if yes, write in the parking lot and share it with me. Where is it located in the aircraft? It is located on a metal plate on the cockpit. Simple as that, the code. For every aircraft. And the system is very old. Very old. It's not new, it's very old. Okay, guys. So I will be sharing these class notes with you all via email, but just give me a day. Today I cannot do just after the session. You will get a notification, class notes. So whatever I've shared on the whiteboard will be shared with you. Whatever images we have used will be shared with you. And once the lectures are uploaded, I'll just give you the playlist link and you can always keep checking. And I know if you have subscribed, you will get to know the notification whenever it is uploaded. Otherwise, I'll try to send email also, like old times. But if you have attended the live session, if you have made notes, that should be more than enough for you to, at least remember 60 to 80%. I don't expect you all to remember 100% right away. You will be able to remember 100% if you do subsequent revisions. So from now till our next class, our next RT class will be day after tomorrow. You have to revise all this. And I'll make sure I send this material that I've used to teach you and a part of the notebook relevant to your flight plan and everything by tomorrow so that you can revise and be ready for the next session. And please, 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 people who are not regular, please try to be regular. Don't miss this opportunity because we'll not be redoing it again. Others who are regular, I really appreciate it, guys. I'm always here for everyone, doubts and whatever it is. If you have any negative feedback about training or any problems that you have faced, or if you think I can improve, drop me a message right away. Remember all this, guys. If you let me know what the problems are, I'll be able to work upon them and give you the best training possible. What is our goal? Why are we doing this? To crack your RT exam in the first or the next attempt that you're giving. Your license will change your lifestyle. It will be there with you for the rest of your life. It's a document issued by the Ministry of Communication, Government of India. It's as good as your passport. Many people use it at toll checkpoints also. I don't do it. I don't do it and I don't think we should do it. But I've seen many people use it to not pay the tolls also. And for people who are into maintenance engineering, guys, this will open new doors for you. So don't take it lightly. I'm trying my best. I'll do more if you ask me to. You have to study and you have to take the responsibility on yourself also. You have to believe you can do it. That being said, guys, we'll have another session 7 o'clock day after tomorrow. Keep that in mind. Although I'll send you a reminder message. Sometimes the broadcast messages are not going, so you might receive messages twice. Don't think I'm spamming you guys. This is just to make sure nobody is missing. Okay. And like I said, doubts, let me know. Write it in your parking lot. And the next 4 questions is something that will directly jump in the next session. And we'll do a little more than that. So today we have solved. Today we have seen what a flight plan looks like, what an examination question paper looks like, what is the basic call structure, how to answer a call, how to do a pre-flight check, both on VHF and HF, where to get the information from. And hopefully in the next session, we'll also be able to do charts after the 4 questions. Maybe we'll start with chart and then do the next 4 questions. And we have also seen at least 6 or 7 standard phrases, changing to standby, say again, negative, and read back, and disregard. Disregard is very useful, guys. If you make a major mistake, you can just say disregard and start afresh. All right, guys, so I'll sign off. I'll take your leave. Thank you. Next class, I'll give you a break in between a lengthy session. Today we had some issues, so we had to stretch. I hope everybody got it. Just get back to me if you did not on WhatsApp or Instagram. I'll see you all next class day after tomorrow, 3rd June, 7 p.m. Same link, everything is same, but I'll share it again. Okay, guys, taking your leave, okay? See you all.
Thank you, Shubha.